Welcome back to ASAY Entertainment. Today we're taking a look at The Seduction of Cindy, 1980, a controversial adult drama from the early 1980s. Rather than focusing on explicit content, this recap explores the film's story, its characters, and the emotional conflicts that drive the plot. The story follows Michael and his wife, Cindy, whose marriage has grown distant and unhappy. Hoping to repair their relationship, Michael makes a risky decision that sets off a chain of unexpected events. As trust is tested and emotions become more complicated, into a series of difficult decisions that will affect everyone involved. This marks the beginning of the film's central conflict and sets the stage for everything that follows. As Michael's plan begins to unfold, the situation becomes far more complex, becomes harder to maintain, and every conversation adds more pressure to an already fragile relationship. The story shifts from a troubled marriage to a deeper exploration of honesty, trust, and the consequences of making risky choices. With emotions running high and relationships becoming increasingly complicated, the stage is set for even bigger conflicts in the next chapter. As the story reaches its later stages, the characters are forced to face the consequences of the decisions they have made. The misunderstandings and poor communication that built up over time can no longer be ignored, and each person must confront the impact of their actions. Michael realizes that trying to solve personal problems through secrecy has only made the situation more complicated. The trust that once held the relationships together has been damaged, and rebuilding it proves to be much more difficult than he expected. Cindy, meanwhile, begins to reflect on what she truly wants from her future. She recognizes that honest communication and mutual respect are essential for any healthy relationship. Her experiences throughout the story lead her to question the choices that brought everyone to this point. The film uses these conflicts to highlight broader themes such as trust, responsibility, and the importance of facing problems directly rather than avoiding them. Regardless of its controversial reputation, the narrative suggests that decisions made without openness can have lasting emotional consequences. As the story moves toward its conclusion, the characters are left to decide whether they can learn from their mistakes and move forward, or whether the damage done to their relationships is simply too great to repair. As the story continues, the emotional distance made earlier begin to affect everyone in unexpected ways, and the atmosphere grows increasingly tense. What once seemed like a private struggle within a marriage slowly turns into a situation that impacts every relationship around them. Cindy starts noticing small details that she had previously overlooked. Strange conversations, unusual behavior, and moments of silence make her wonder if something important is being kept from her. Although she cannot yet see the full picture, she realizes that trust is beginning to disappear. Instead of finding comfort, she is left with more of the consequences of his own choices. He genuinely hoped his actions would improve his marriage, but the situation is moving beyond his control. Every attempt to fix one problem seems to create another, and the pressure continues to build. He begins to understand that solving relationship problems requires honesty and communication, not secret plans or risky decisions. The supporting characters also find themselves caught in the growing conflict. Different opinions, hidden motives, and emotional reactions make the situation even more complicated. Everyone is forced to make difficult choices, and each decision pushes the story closer to a major turning point. By the end of this chapter, it becomes clear that the truth cannot remain hidden forever. The secrets that have been carefully kept are starting to come to light, setting the stage for dramatic confrontations and life-changing consequences in the next part of the story. As the film comes to an end, the characters are left to face the results of the choices they made throughout the story. Relationships that were built on trust have been tested, and every decision has carried emotional consequences. The ending encourages viewers to think about how honesty, communication, and mutual respect are essential for main dramas of its era. Today, it is remembered more as a curiosity from its time than as a mainstream Hollywood production. Thank you for watching this recap on ASAY Entertainment. If you enjoyed this, and we'll see you in the next movie recap. Looking back at The Seduction of Cindy, 1980, it's clear that the film is remembered primarily because of its controversial reputation rather than its place in mainstream cinema. Like many adult productions, whether viewers appreciate it as a curiosity from its time or simply as part of film history, the movie continues to generate discussion because of its cultural context and the era in which it was made. Thank you for watching this review. Your support helps us bring you more reviews and retrospectives on classic films from different decades. See you in the next video. More than 4 decades after its release, The Seduction of Cindy, 1980, remains a niche title that is mostly discussed by collectors of vintage cinema and people interested in the history of controversial films. While it never became a mainstream classic, it represents a specific period in filmmaking when certain independent productions attracted attention because of their subject matter. Did in 1980. Changes in filmmaking, storytelling, and audience expectations have reshaped how older movies are remembered and discussed. Today, the film is more often examined for its place in film history than for its entertainment value. Whether you enjoy exploring forgotten movies or learning about unusual chapters in Hollywood history, looking back at older films can provide an interesting perspective on how cinema has evolved over the years. Thank you for spending your time with ASAY Entertainment. If you enjoyed this review, please support the channel by liking the video, subscribing, and turning on notifications. We regularly cover forgotten Hollywood films, cult classics, and fascinating stories from movie history. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.